Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video, and today I want to talk about 5 surprising first and second year players in the NBA this season. There's been a lot of great young talent that's come through the NBA draft the past few years, and a couple days ago the Rising Stars rosters were announced, and it got me thinking about some players in particular that I haven't really had a chance to talk about on this channel, but have been having amazing rookie or sophomore seasons. So today I'm going to talk about some of those less discussed players and go over what has made their first or second season so special in my eyes. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos, and let's go ahead and get right into it. The first guy I want to talk about is Jalen Williams, aka J-Dub of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'm talking about the one out of Santa Clara, the guard, not the big guy out of Arkansas, because yes, there are 2 on the Thunder's roster. J-Dub went 12th overall to the Thunder this past draft, and he was a late bloomer because he really shot up draft boards, mainly due to the combine and some of his measurables. He went from a late first-round pick projected player to a legit lottery potential guy, and like I said, he did end up going in the lottery at 12th overall due to a unique combination of fluidity attacking the basket, some shot making, a 7'2" wingspan as a guard, which gives him high-level defensive potential, and really he seemed like he could thrive as both an off and on-ball option for the Thunder, which is exactly what this team continues to try and acquire through the draft, and he has done exactly that this season. He's thrived in off-ball scenarios next to Shea and Josh Giddey, and when he's got the chance to handle the ball himself as the lead guy in a unit, he's also done an impeccable job. Statistically, J-Dub is putting up 12 points per game on over 50% shooting to go along with 4 boards, 2.8 assists, and over a steal per game. He's primarily scoring by attacking the basket in a very slithery way that, if you watch him, is eerily reminiscent of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he even said that in college, prior to even getting drafted by the Thunder, he looked at Shai as a player he could model his game after, and it shows. Whether it's the pull-up mid-range jumpers, like I said, the very slithery and slinky way of attacking the basket, where he kind of makes himself thinner to get through defenders, he goes to scoop layups, he really likes to attack on the opposite side of the basket as well, using the rim to block off shot blockers, and all around he's just found amazing ways to attack the rim and be very effective in doing so. Additionally, he's also shown a knack for knocking down floaters, whether it's the typical straight away at the basket going right over the shot blocker to float it up and in, or he really likes to go to like this across the grain offhand floater that he does a lot of the time, where he's moving left but he'll finish, floating the ball right. It just doesn't feel like it makes any sense naturally, but he knocks him down like it's absolutely nothing, and it's a go-to move of his. It's not like, oh, once in a while he'll break it out. He does this consistently, and having a skill like that, being able to float the ball up and in while also having the ability to attack downhill quickly, finish around traffic. He uses these skills whether it's off cuts, getting passes from Shea or Josh Giddey, or even when he's getting the opportunity to isolate, attack slower defenders, and just finish right over them using his really sneaky athleticism. Right now, he actually leads the NBA in dunks by a guard, not a guy like Ja Morant who gets posted on SportsCenter all the time, but actually Jalen Williams, who even wasn't very heralded for his athleticism coming out of college, but once again, he uses that wingspan, his great ability to cut to the basket and get backdoor to finish over defenders with ease. He looks to not just be the perfect off-ball player, but also a high-level ball handler himself, and if his shooting comes along, because his three-point shot does need a bit of work, but if that continues to come along and gets better and better, as well as some of those defensive tools materialize, there are very few, if any, holes in his potential game. Due to these skills and his high-level impact on the game basically every moment he's out there, J-Dub has shot up to 3rd on the Rookie of the Year ladder and is a lock for all-rookie first team, a spot that many people wouldn't have had him in prior to the season. But Jalen Williams continues to prove people wrong and show why he can be one of the best players out of this draft class. The second guy I want to talk about is Alperen Şengün of the Houston Rockets. He had a pretty good rookie season last year, establishing himself as a fun, playmaking offensive big, kind of in like a Domantas Sabonis or a Nikola Jokic type role, although, not up to the level of those guys quite yet, but he looked like he could be a fun potential piece for the future. And this season, he's gone from, fun potential piece to a legit cornerstone for the Rockets going forward, exploding onto the scene as probably their best player over the course of this year, and showing that he has real potential as an all-around offensive hub. On the season, Şengün is averaging 15.3 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 3.6 assists on 57.1% shooting. He's a high-level post-up big that not many paint defenders can stop from getting to his spot, and he hits them with a variety of moves. The footwork is impeccable, and even if guys are stronger than them, he's able to get down below, use his leverage to body them up, hit a little baby hook, or just hit them with a quick spin, and get basically an automatic 2 points most times he decides to post up. This is combined with high-level playmaking and great court vision. If somebody cuts, if somebody's going backdoor, Şengün's going to hit you with a crazy behind-the-back pass, a no-look, or just hit the guy right in a spot where he doesn't even know he needs to be to get get the best look possible. And the assist numbers don't really show you how great of a playmaker he is. You have to watch him actually play, because some of the decisions he makes, even if it's not him directly getting the assist, he'll pass to somebody that causes a rotation and then go set a screen, which gets somebody a wide open attack of the basket. He just does so many of the little things that just make the offense so much better for Houston. And this is a squad that's been the worst team in the league basically all season, and when their offense is being run through most other players, it's kind of unwatchable. It feels like I'm watching an AAU squad. But then when Alperen Şengün gets the ball and he works out of the high post or the low post, or just as like a dribble handoff guy, set screens, whatever he's doing, when Şengün is deeply involved and they're running the offense through him, it looks like night and day. They look like actually a competent offensive squad. And this is something that the Rockets have started to do more and more. But if I were them, I would even commit to it more, because right now, like I said, Şengün is making everything work. When he has the ball in his hands, good things happen, which hasn't been the case for most other players on this young Rockets team this year. Earlier in the season, he became the youngest center of all time to record a triple-double. He continuously has the potential to put up double-doubles or triple-doubles basically every night, with the playmaking, with the rebounding, with the scoring. Şengün has just been an amazing revelation for Houston this season. In a year, like I said, once again, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. Sure, they've got the potential to land a top pick, but seeing this growth internally with some of their young players like an Alperen Şengün is exactly what you want to see. And he once again projects as maybe a potential all-star caliber player, a la a Domantas Sabonis. The third guy I want to go over is Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz. He was dealt to them in the Rudy Gobert trade alongside all those first-round picks and a couple solid role players, and he was basically immediately thrust into the role as Utah's lead rim protector. Now, he doesn't always start, but the guys that do start ahead of him, like a Kelly Olynyk, aren't exactly going to be swatting shots. However, Kessler, while he hasn't been given quite as much opportunities to start, every moment that he's out there, he's a threat, and he has immediately succeeded in that role as their lead rim protector. Statistically, Walker Kessler is averaging 7.9 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks per game, which is fourth in the entire NBA this season, while also shooting over 70% from the field. Just a day ago, he had a 7-block game in which he also put up 17 points and 14 boards, making him the first player since Dwight Howard back in 2008 to have this stat line while shooting at least 80% from the field. Kessler is the only center in the NBA to have 2 games of 7+ blocks this season, and he has 6 5+ block games, once again, where he doesn't typically start. And he's also, wild stat here, got more blocks than Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns combined this season. Now, that's not too crazy because they both have been injured for a majority of the year, but it is still a crazy stat to look at when you consider the fact that the Timberwolves gave up Walker Kessler to bring in Rudy Gobert in that big package. And Kessler clearly remembers this because not too long ago in a game against Minnesota, he had the best game of his career, putting up a 20-20 game, which included 9 offensive rebounds and 2 blocks in a 1-point win. This also made him the first rookie in about a decade to have a 20-20 game. Kessler is making an immediate impact in just 20 minutes per game typically. He's also got 11 double-doubles this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a triple-double with blocks at some point this year, and if not this season, he will definitely have a few over the course of his career. Despite being super young, he's already one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. He's great at rebounding, and when he does get the opportunity to score down low, he's doing a great job of finishing plays. Kessler seems like he could really be their center of the future, and at one point, it didn't even seem like he was the primary piece of that Rudy Gobert trade. Now it seems like he's a long-term guy that can fit on this franchise and immediately fills that role of rim protector that the Utah Jazz desperately needed after dealing Rudy Gobert away. Kessler's going to be a long-standing guy in Utah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's basically untouchable for them at this point. Fourth on the list, we have Jeremy Sochan of the San Antonio Spurs. He was taken top 10 by the Spurs as a defensive specialist primarily, and some people thought he was picked a bit too high. But he's starting to show a lot of potential offensively to go along with that defensive upside, and it's showing why he really was worthy of a top 10 pick. On the season statistically, Sochan is averaging 9.9 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, and 2.5 dimes, and while those numbers don't necessarily pop off the page at you, they are pretty good, but nothing that's going to blow you away. What really is going to surprise you are his numbers recently. From month to month, Sochan continues to get better and better statistically, but really it's over his last 7 games in particular that showcase just how good he's been as of late. Over these games, Sochan is averaging 18 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, while shooting a super efficient 50% from the field and 52% from 3. A huge question mark coming into the season was, could he space the floor at a high level? And sure, there is still a lot of work on the season as a whole, but he's showing that there are potential signs there for him to be a high-level offensive player. Also, over the stretch, he's hitting 84% of his free throws, continuing to show his improvement using that one-handed free throw technique that he was clowned for by a lot of people. But in my eyes, it shows a willingness to continue to improve improve regardless of what people say. He knew he was going to get clowned for shooting free throws with one hand, but he's gone from being below a 50% shooter at the line to now over 70% since switching that free throw routine. And once again, the fact that he's willing as a top 10 pick to make that change, to say, hey, I don't care if I get clowned, I'm going to shoot free throws one hand because it's going to work better, showcases the work ethic and how much he really wants to improve. A great sign for a young player. This great stretch showcases his high level potential as a two-way player, and it was all capped off by a career game against the Suns a few days ago. In this game, he put up a career high 30 points to go with 8 rebounds and 5 dimes, easily the best game he's had so far, as they ended up losing to the Suns in overtime, but it took the Suns a lot to put them away because of the play of Sochan offensively and defensively. Additionally, he's just one of those players that feels like he's always able to get in the offensive player's head, whether he's being annoying as a pest defending them, he's going for hustle plays, he's grabbing offensive boards, and just frustrating the opposing team. That's a super valuable skill to have as a young player, and I feel like teams are going to hate playing him basically his entire career. He projects as a great complementary piece to the other cornerstones of San Antonio at the moment, like a Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, who are a bit more offensive oriented, so having a great defender like Sochan next to them really makes things click. And if the Spurs, get a big like a Victor Wembanyama or some other high-level rim protector in the draft, their defense is going to get really scary really fast. And if Sochan continues to improve, because he still is just 19 years old, he could be the star next to some of those other guys. And the final player I want to talk about in this video is Trey Murphy III, a second-year player for the Pelicans out of the University of Virginia, the school that I went to actually. And when he played at UVA, I already knew he was going to be a really solid player in the NBA. He just seemed to do everything right. He had the ability to knock down threes, he had some solid athleticism, but he's exploded onto the scene in a big way ever since getting to the Pelicans, who this season in particular have been riddled with injuries. Zion has really struggled to stay on the court, same with Brandon Ingram, as well as some of their other solid role players, but Trey Murphy has stepped up in a big way in their absence. On the season, Murphy is averaging 12.6 points per game while shooting 48% from the field and 39.5% from three to go with 3.7 boards per game and 1.1 steals. He's basically the perfect mold of player to fit in any system, but especially next to Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, because both of those guys really like to have the ball in their hands, although they can play off ball as well. But Trey Murphy, you can put the ball in his hands if you need to, but he can really easily fade into the background and say, hey, I'm going to play good defense, I'm going to knock down threes, I'm going to cut to the basket, and basically do everything that you would want to see from a star role player. Due to all these injuries, Murphy's been asked to start all but 10 of his appearances this season, and he's done a great job of stepping up when they've asked him to. In fact, in games where he shoots 13 plus times this season, the Pelicans are 7-2, and in games where he shoots 8 plus threes, they're 7-1. So when they're utilizing Trey Murphy continuously on offense, it's leading to wins. He's not putting up empty stats, he's directly contributing to them putting W's on the score sheet. Murphy's only one of 12 players in the NBA right now shooting 39.5% or better from three, while shooting 5.5 attempts per game. And not only can he shoot threes at a high clip, he is an elite athlete, so much so that he got invited to the dunk contest. He can dunk on you, he's explosive, he can cut to the rim and raise up above probably what anybody thought he could defensively. He's done an amazing job of showcasing his athleticism and that three-point shot, which makes him such a difficult guard. If you step out on the three, he can attack your closeout with some speed and either kick out to someone or just dunk on the guy that's under the rim. Otherwise, if you don't close out, he's going to drill a three at a high clip. He's just one of those highly versatile role players that right now looks like he could potentially be a star in a bigger role. And if the Pelicans want to keep him, they're going to have to shell out a bag, because I'm sure in restricted free agency, some team is going to offer him a ton of money. With all that being said, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos. And go ahead and comment down below who is another young player that you've really enjoyed watching this season, and maybe I'll make another edition of this video. I appreciate y'all watching. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.